Good morning guys, a little bit of an early video today, but stick around because I think I got some gillens eggs. So things are happening all over the shop at the moment. I've got a couple of what appear to be gravid gilleni. I've got a few gecko eggs out. We've got some white Berber eggs, some northern velvet eggs, some Ciliaris aberrans eggs. The hopping mice have had babies as well. There's 3 little fuzzy hopping mice in there at the moment. So things are happening all over the shop. But today's a pretty exciting day because I've potentially got a few gillens eggs from a female that's on a bit of a breeding loan to inject some new blood into my collection and give the other guy that owns the actual girl a few extra gilleni so he's got something to play around with as well. So anyway, I'm going to show you where she is. She's in a little nest box at the moment. We're going to pull out the nest box and hopefully there's a few eggs in there for us. So the lights are only just about to come on at the moment, so they should be on shortly. As I said, it is very early. I decided to get up a little bit early this morning because I saw her nesting these late last night, so hopefully she's out of that nest box. We're going to pull that out and give a bit of a dig through it and see if we can't find some gillens eggs. Okay, so we might not actually dig up the gillens eggs just yet because it does appear that she is still in there. So I'm going to put the lid back on, we're going to leave her alone, and I'm going to come back to this after work and we're going to see, hopefully by then we've got some gillens eggs out.
Okay, so I'm back at home. I'm hoping that she's laid these eggs. I don't know if I can see her in the box just at the moment. It's very dark in there, so I will have to turn on the lights. So give me a second, I'm just going to log back into Grid Connect and turn all this stuff on. Much better. So just turn those lights on, just put the LEDs on for now. That's all I'm going to need. I just need to be able to see. You can see all the crickets that are loose in there going nuts. I'll carefully take this log down just in case there most likely is some gillens in there. And put that down there. Move this log gently as well. And let's see if we can see anyone in here. Okay, so that's looking pretty well closed up for now. Apart from that other little dig there. Don't know what that's about. So we're gonna have a bit of a look. I'm just gonna pull this out and we'll have a little bit of a look underneath it. Okay, so we got the box out. I'm just gonna have a peek underneath. Oh, yep, there's some eggs. So I'm gonna just quickly get the egg incubation tub out of the incubator that's been prepared earlier. And we're gonna have a bit of a digging sesh. Okay, so I got my little incubation tub here. This is one of Ironbark's incubation tubs. I'm not actually sure if these guys are still in production anymore. I've just chucked the date on there as well, which is always handy so you know when your eggs were laid. It's a good idea to be able to keep on track of everything. And the eggs are pretty much right in the middle down here. I don't know how I'm not going to make a mess everywhere, unfortunately. Let me just see if I can try to fix that and get some sort of container. So this will work perfect for now. I've just got an old fish tank here that I can at least try to transfer some of the sand across into without making a mess of my carpet. And if I do, well, that's what vacuums are made for. So I'm going to take a bit of the bulk of this out, just because otherwise I'll be kicking dirt around everywhere, or sand around everywhere. Definitely feel like I'm getting close. So this mix is just basically a little bit of a mix of sand as well as some eucalyptus mulch, just kind of bulking it out a little bit. And then I've just moistened it with some water. I didn't get a good count on how many eggs are actually in here, so it'll be interesting to see what we've got. Sometimes these gillens, what they do is depending on, and this goes for a lot of lizards actually, depending on the moisture content in the sand will dictate whether they kind of create a bit of an air pocket around the eggs or whether they just leave them, oh, we got our first one, leave them to be a little bit less enclosed. So what I'm going to do, so I'm just going to grab a pen of some description just so I can mark the top of these, just so in case during the 100 odd days that they're going to be incubating, if I accidentally turn them over, at least I can write them the right way up. I've just got a little purple pen here. Let's see how these guys look. One has a bit of a funny window on it actually that I can see there, but I'll just try to gently put a little mark on these guys. Very gently. We'll have to check these guys to see if they are in fact fertile. This particular egg does look like it is well shelled. I am using a different male in this enclosure, so that'll always be interesting to see what they kind of come back as. For the time being, I will pop them straight over into this little tub. We're going to see how many we've got and see how they look. I've got this second little one out here. Pretty decent sized eggs for little lizards. This one actually looks like half the egg's a little bit discoloured, so that'll be interesting to see whether that's just something to do with the moisture in the sand or whether there was something wrong with the egg. And I always try to initially with these little tubs, is you can see how many compartments there are. I try to do one little egg in each little compartment before I start doubling them up, just in case I can actually fit, a few more in obviously, but it's just a good way to be able to kind of spread them out a little bit and see how far we can go with them. Oh, there's definitely a little slug there. You can tell they're slugs when they're super soft and squishy, but they haven't been maybe calcified properly. So you can see there almost looks like a little soft squishy bag, so that's unfortunately not going to be any good for us. Chances of that being fertile are next to none. It does look like there's another slug, which kind of sucks, but this is what happens with animals, is you don't always get it perfect. And these guys have had good access to good quality UVB and pretty good wicket of food for a fair period of time now, so it might just be, I think these girls are getting a little bit older, so that might be something to do with that. There's another egg here that has a bit of a funny colour to it. It's always a bit weird when you get eggs like this. It's a bit different to what my usual female gilleni throws. Usually with her they're a nice pearly white, kind of a bit more like the egg that was put over on this side here. Yeah, so there's another slug, another squishy egg. Get this one out. This one's got a bit of better shape, a bit better calcified. So I don't know the keeping history of these guys 100% previous to coming to me, but apparently this particular female that has bred was a good breeder. So it'd be interesting to to know, but here we go. There's another slug. I don't know if these ones are fertile yet either, so that'll be something interesting to know. I'll have to put the torch to them and see if I can candle them and see if there's any veins, and even if there's not any veins just yet, what I'll do is I'll kind of wait it out for a few weeks and watch the eggs. And if the eggs go a bit sour and they crinkle up, then chances are they're definitely not fertile, but if they do have nice red veins forming, then they'll hopefully produce a nice little offspring. But yeah, these soggy squishy eggs, they're no good. They're not going to be any good to anybody. 6 eggs so far, or 6 could have been eggs. So chances of any more starting to get a bit slimmer. So we're down to some paper towel. Oh, there's slug number 4. So that's no good. Bit of an unfortunate thing, but these things do happen. Hopefully the girl might decide that she wants to double clutch. Sometimes these guys can double clutch in a season. If she does, then maybe she'll be firing on all cylinders next time, but we'll just have to wait and see how that kind of goes and plays out. 7 potential eggs was a good sized clutch for this animal, but unfortunately something's happened there where either they haven't been fertilised properly, or something's happened where maybe she's not fit to lay eggs anymore. Breeding animals is one of the hardest things you can actually do to an animal, and it does take a lot out of them. So depending on her past history, which as I said, I don't know 100% what it's like, could depend on what's actually going on with this animal at this particular moment. Could be the male. The male might not have been shooting any good sperm. So there's a lot of variables in play, and it's kind of hard to really know. But as far as those eggs, they're definitely infertile. I dare say that was it. And unfortunately, we may have potentially struck out a little bit in this clutch. But I'm going to quickly just throw the foam torch through these eggs and see if I can see any veins. And as I said, regardless if I can or I can't, I will put them in the incubator and give them the benefit of the doubt for at least probably a few weeks and see how they go. So unfortunately it doesn't look any good just yet. These eggs do look a little bit patchy, like they haven't been calcified properly, so that usually comes down to the female's role. You know, as I said, she's on a good wicket at the moment. She does have good UVB. She has good access of everything. So unfortunately there's something that's not missing there, well, that's kind of, you know, a bit of a kink in the armour and something's not kind of going quite right. These do not appear to be fertile just yet. I will give them the benefit of the doubt, as I said. These guys over here, these guys are definitely no good. They're just like little soggy bags of old yolk and stuff. So anyway, they'll be discarded, and I'm going to put the rest of the nest box back together in here in case the other female decides to go. And for the time being, I will put these in the incubator and we'll see what happens, and I'll keep you updated, and if they hatch, then you'll be the first guys to know, but we'll see how they go. So as it goes, sometimes these things just don't always work out, but we'll still see with those 3 eggs. I've got my fingers and toes crossed for these guys, because you never know, and I have seen things hatch out of way worse looking eggs. So, you know, all we can do is just play the waiting game and see. I did quickly look back through my messages, and it looks like these girls are about 5 years old, so they're kind of coming towards the end of that reproductive life cycle essentially. You maybe get another year or 2 out of them depending on the animals and what sort of condition they've been raised in, but we'll see how we go. So I'm still holding out, gonna feed this girl back up, give her a good feed tomorrow morning and see if she plumps back up in another couple of months and see if we can maybe get another clutch out of her. But yeah, time will tell. Well, hello. We're back again, and this time, hopefully a little bit more exciting. My original female gillens monitors decided to lay some eggs for me. So this has been going on for a little while now. She's been digging away and nesting. You can see all sorts of little holes through here. And she's nested. See if you can see them a little bit. There's a nice little pile of eggs just down in that corner there. So hopefully these eggs are fertile this time. It'll be pretty exciting to at least get some gillens monitors out this year. I just caught her this morning. She's absolutely covered in sand and all sorts. You can see she's almost left a little bit of an air barrier around these guys. At least I can see these guys, so I know where to dig. Whoop. Hopefully there's a few good eggs in here, because it'd be nice to get some little babies out again this year. Usually these guys do pretty well, so I don't think I've had a year where she's slugged out. Hopefully this isn't the first of that. A nice thing to find just before I go off to work. I just didn't want to leave them there all day just in case something else went wrong with them. I hope them desiccated all, especially after the other clutch seemed to be a bit of a slug clutch. Oh, almost get fingers around them. Nice little eggs. So that's one. Pop him across into here. Might have to check on these later today to see if they're fertile. There's 2. Wasn't sure if she was actually going to go this year, to be honest, because sometimes she actually has a year off essentially. She kind of does that to herself, so it's a good indicator that something's gone right at least this year and she's been happy enough to do this. Number 3. These are all looking at least well shelled. So she's doing the right thing, using that UVB to help create all of this calcium in the eggs. There's 4. Another good looking egg. 5. There we go there. I'm not sure if there's any more in there. I think 5 might have been where she capped it this year. It looks like it. Then I'm back into a tunnel. Oh, what's that? What is that? I think I found a 6th one. There's number 6. I think that's pretty sure that's it. Have a quick dig just in case. That's not too bad. Got 6 little eggs there. Not a bad little haul. So that's pretty cool to get those out of the gillens monitors. As I said, I'll have to check if these guys are all fertile. We'll give them a little bit of time in the incubator to hopefully get some veins happening in them. So these guys all look fertile, which is super exciting. Something I am going to do is just put a little black mark on top of the eggs, just using a texter. This is just so in case I'm mucking around with them at all, I know where to put them back into. I might just quickly do this without the camera. And just like that, with the power of editing, the marks are all on the eggs. Now we're going to go and chuck them into the incubator. Whoop. And hopefully in about 100 odd days we'll have some baby gilleni. Well guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. As I said, you win some, you lose some, so it's good that at least my original pair are actually decided to produce the goods again for me this year. Hopefully these little baby gilleni come out in about 100 odd days. I always get excited with baby gilleni, so yeah, it'll be really good. Alright guys, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe on the video down below, and also check me out on Patreon and Teespring as well. And guys, I'll see you on the next video. Take it easy.